You are now looking at the main menu of Storekeeper POS, in this case for a deli. All of the modules that you see here are standard with the product. 100% touchscreen oriented point of sale or register module, no keyboard needed, strong inventory control, ability to track your customers, support loyalty programs, time and attendance and commission tracking for your employees, automatic purchase order generation. All of this is standard with the product. The heart of it is definitely the register module, and we're going to load the deli here right now. Bear in mind the software does have a scale interface, which makes it suitable not only for delis, but things like produce markets, meat markets, cafeterias that might need to weigh something on a scale or not, as well as delis, quick service, bakeries, coffee shops, you name it. So we've come into our register module, and the first thing software wants to know is who exactly is, in fact, going to use the system. And you'll notice the keypad popping up right here. I'll put in a 2 for employee number 2, and here's a full screen keyboard for employee number 2 to enter her password. So you can see that at any point in time in the register, if you need a keyboard, we'll pop one up for you. So you literally don't need a keyboard at the point of sale. If you like using keyboards, I'm going to type on mine right now, that's no problem. And Mary Jones here has not actually punched the clock today, and if she's going to use the register, we think she should, so we're asking her to sign in, and we're ready to go. So here in our deli, we sell a variety of sandwiches and drinks and various other things, including, in this case, cheese that we're going to use our scale interface for. But let's start out with a simple sale. They're going to buy a BLT on white, and they'd like a Coca-Cola from the fountain with that. We'll pay with cash. You'll notice some buttons corresponding to the total here of only $4.54, so they give us a $5 bill. We just made a sale. So very easy to use. We do also support other tenders, obviously, besides cash, built-in support for credit, debit, and gift cards. We also can do check sales and verify them optionally if you like. So complete payment processing is a standard feature with Storekeeper POS. Okay, let's do another sale, and I'm going to buy a club sandwich on wheat this time. But I'd like some condiments with that. So the condiments can be free. Here's mayo. Or maybe we want some extra cheese. We're going to charge 50 cents for that. Notice the screen stays in the condiment section until we hit the return button. This is an option for you for each department, actually, if it's more convenient for you to ring up multiple items. And by the way, while I'm at it, let's hold the lettuce. So we can go ahead and easily tailor what the customer is ordering. By the way, all this stuff can print out back in the kitchen on a kitchen printer. So as the sales are being rung up, as soon as they're completed, out in the kitchen, out something from the printer, so the person making the sandwich knows to make a club on wheat, add the mayo and cheese, and hold the lettuce. I'll pay with a check this time, and we assume the exact amount of the sale. Again, we've made a transaction. One of the things that's very useful about this software in these kinds of markets is the fact that we do have a built-in scale interface. We work with scales from a wide variety of vendors, including Avery Burkle, Metrologic, and NCR. And I can do a variety of things with scales. Let's go ahead and, for example, ring up some Swiss cheese that I'm going to buy by the pound. Okay, the software has been programmed to automatically try to read the scale. Now, I'm running off my laptop, so I don't have a scale built in here, and it's unable to do so. If it did, it would actually read the scale directly and put that in, and you have two options here. One is, let's say you have stuff that's prepackaged. It's 2 pounds. Great, we're done. Another option would be that you want to adjust things on the fly at the point of sale, and there's an option for that as well. So if I wanted to bring up some provolone, and maybe it comes out originally at 1.75 pounds, and I really want to buy 2, I could put some more provolone on there and weigh it again. And when it gets to, let's say I want to buy 2.5 pounds, you'll notice we support 4 decimal digits on the quantity side of things. And again, we ring that up directly using the scale interface. We can also use our inventory lookup button to see what's in stock. So here in our cheeses, we've got blue cheese, cheddar, provolone, Swiss, you name it. Another thing that we do is we have support for what are called sometimes random weight or random price barcodes. These are UPC barcodes that standalone scales produce. So if your scale is not integrated with the POS, maybe you've got a little counter in the back where you weigh things up, you put it on a scale, that scale itself spits out a barcode. We know how to read those barcodes, and I'll show you. So I'm going to simulate a barcode scan by simply typing on my keyboard, which is one of the standard ways barcodes work. And I am going to put in what would be a typical UPC2 code. So the first 5 digits here are actually the item number of the item you're selling, followed by the price in pennies. So let's say I wanted to sell $12.34. That's what came out on the scale. And there's a check digit at the end. And you'll notice $12.34. We bought some goat cheese here, Chev, and it figured out that that is equivalent to 0.6875 pounds. It gets you to $12.34. So we'll read that standalone scales barcode and figure out exactly how much to deduct from your inventory. Here's a bigger number. Notice these still correspond to the total. So let's say they gave me $60. We give them $3.50 change. And again, we've made another sale. One other thing I'm not going to show you here, but I want you to be aware of is the fact that we do what's sometimes called menu tracking or recipe tracking. So you can, for example, set up a burger. The burger is got a patty and buns and special sauce and lettuce and tomatoes. And when you sell one of those burgers, we will, at the end of the day, account for all of the patties and the buns and all the rest of that stuff that you sold. So that's another good, strong inventory control feature for you in this market. Also, I want to show you that we do very easy editing of the sale. Let's say I'm going to buy some baked beans by the pint. And I realized, oh, I really wanted to buy 2 pints. No problem, just touch the line, edit quantity, and we've got 2 pints. Or change my mind, I don't want those baked beans. Void line, and it's gone. So very easy editing of the transaction, courtesy of our touchscreen interface. Lastly, I want to show you at the end of the shift, we go ahead and have the clerk balance the cash drawer, reconcile the drawer, count up the money that's going to the bank. And we do that, we think, in a very nice, easy way. That's typically done by hitting our manager button, menu button and going into the shift closeout feature. Are you sure? Yep, we're going to close out this shift and open the drawer so we can count the money. And you'll notice all the tender types here that the store takes: cash, check, customer charge. We have a full receivable system built into the software, if you like, as well as various credit cards and, in this case, gift certificates. We also support gift cards, which are externally verified. You'll notice the customer charge and things like Visa are in a white color, and if I click on them, nothing actually happens. That's because we know how much money is going to the bank. If we do a credit card sale on Visa, we're going to get that money courtesy of electronic payment processing. So we don't need the person at the point of sale, the clerk, to count this stuff up. But we sure do want them to count up the cash and the checks, because that's got to be deposited manually in the bank. So if I touch cash, I get a list of the different bill types I have, coins and rolls. So let's say I have two $50 bills, $5 bills, 4 quarters. You'll notice we're keeping a running total here. 5 nickels, 2 rolls of dimes. Very easy. Instead of actually having to do the math, all the person reconciling has to do is count up what's in the drawer. We do the math for you. With checks, we have a little bit different approach. We don't know that there's any standard amounts, so we're just going to use the numeric keypad here like a calculator pad. And let's say we have a check for $12.34. You notice the parentheses 1 after this. We are doing what's called a blind closeout, which is normal. That is, we're not going to tell you how much you're over or short by, just that you're over or short if you miscounted. But we don't think there's any problem with telling you how many checks to look for. This is meant to be helpful. It's not actually a mandate from the system. So if I hit OK here, you notice our subtotal is $12.34. Touch OK when done. Say I found another check for $45.67. Our total is now $58.01. I touch OK when done. And that's it. I've counted up my drawer. I'm ready to finish my shift. Well, I put in a bunch of random numbers, and lo and behold, we are out of balance. That's not surprising since I put in random numbers. And let's say the clerk looks around and he finds a $20 bill under the drawer that he forgot to count before. What we can do is say, yep, let's go back and try and fix that up. We'll hit cash again, and we remember everything that you put in before. So all we have to do is add that $20 bill. And again, we're ready now to finish the shift. Of course, I'm still out of balance, but let's say I've done as good a job as I can. I'm going to finish this reconciliation process, and we are going to print a report. That report can go to the receipt printer, or it can go to the default Windows printer. So let's say I'm in a typical market, and I've got a couple of registers up front and a machine in the back office with a LaserJet printer. If I make my default printer for the registers that LaserJet, the report will automatically come back in the back office. I've got it set up to do my default printer, which happens to make PDF files. So I'm going to show you what this report looks like. We've just created a PDF. Mary Jones, employee number 2 on register number 1, finished her shift at 12:38. She started with 100. We had $61 in cash. She only counted 136 bucks though, so she's short $24.79. With checks, the opposite. We had $3.70 check, and she counted up 58, so she's over. Of course, we put in funny numbers here. Hopefully these will, in practice, be either spot on or very close to what they're supposed to be. We didn't take any other tenders, but if we took visas or gift certificates or gift cards, those would show up. We get some summary information about sales for the store for the day, including refunds if we did any no sales or any post voids. And we have some special options that if somebody wanted to do, for example, a special order for a particularly unusual kind of cheese and you wanted to take a deposit for them, that wouldn't be a sale yet, but we need to account for that money going to the bank today, and those would show up in various slots here on the report. So very easy to balance the drawer. This report comes out automatically. It can be reprinted for up to a year. Mary is done now, and it's time for the next employee to take over and start his shift.